Hey everyone, One Big Boss here, and we are back with another new to retro review. Get ready for some high-speed time-crossing adventures as we speed into the game series which I have loved since a child, and despite some bumpy roads and metal spikes and dangerous robots along the way, has come back into the light after a rough time. So, let's begin. Season 2, Episode 25, the review of Sonic Generations for the PlayStation 3. Sonic Generations was developed by Sonic Team for the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360, though the other platforms such as PC and the 3DS were handled by different developers at the time. The game was released to celebrate the series' 20th anniversary, and just hearing that makes me feel really old since I remember when the game first came out back in the early 90s and I was playing it at my cousin's house. What a game. What a game, and time has flown by. The game was released in November 2011 and brought back the voice actors from Sonic Colors, which is a great choice because, honestly, a lot of people like these guys better than the 4Kids cast. And no, you can't deny that. The plot to Sonic Generations isn't anything too good like in Sonic Adventure 1 and 2, but it's pretty basic, actually. It starts the story of Sonic having a surprise birthday party being thrown for him, until it's interrupted by a creature which captures all of Sonic's friends and throws them into different time periods. Sonic eventually meets his former self, as does Tails, and the two blue blurs race through time to save their friends and have one serious retro trip. Sonic Generations gives you the ability to play as Classic Sonic or Modern Sonic, and both play styles are different. Classic Sonic plays in his traditional way of keeping it as two-dimensional side-scrolling platform, where his only moves are the spin attack and the spin dash. You'll see how tough this can be sometimes because if you've been playing more modern Sonic games, you kind of have to unlearn what you did from there just to go back to the beginning. Which is kind of cool, you know, going back to the roots of Sonic's gaming and all, you know? I think it's a good idea that they did this kind of style. I mean, it took me a while to get used to it, I will admit that, when I started playing this again. Modern Sonic is as you'd expect. Everything from the modern era of Sonic is here in a 2D/3D style of gameplay, like the ones you see in Sonic Adventure and Sonic Colors. He has his homing attack, stomp moves, boosting and sliding as well. Grinding and high-speed boosting through levels is present in this game, which was introduced in Sonic Adventure 2 and back in the terrible Sonic 06 game, which we don't talk about. It never happened. There's a main act in each level that both the Sonics can do. During the gameplay they can find red stars to collect, which unlocks songs and artworks and gives the player a chance to get S ranks and collect rings for certain things later on in the game. There's also challenges upon the area that you're in for the Sonics to complete. Doing so will again unlock artwork and music, and in this game unlocking music for once in a while is pretty good because you can change up the game soundtrack, but more on that later. Another thing about Sonic Generations is the boss battles from Sonic's past. They enable you to relive some classic and very memorable boss fights from your childhood. I personally love the Chaos Battle the most because that back in the Dreamcast days was friggin' amazing. That was such a fun friggin' battle. Some of these battles themselves can be quite difficult on harder settings, and it actually makes for a good challenge, and quite possibly it could be tougher than the originals, I think. In fact, I actually think it was Shadow the Hedgehog's battle on the harder difficulties that gave me a run for my money. It was either that or Silver, I think it was. Chaos was pretty easy, but it was fun. But I'm pretty sure it was the Shadow battle, because that really caused me to rage quit a couple times. Alright, time for the part everybody hates, but sadly, it has to be done. And I'll start with the bad first this time. Now, you'd think a game combining past Sonic games would be good and all, but sometimes it stops short on the metal spikes. Here's what I mean by that. While some levels picked for this game were really great, many classic levels and modern levels were left out or put onto the 3DS, as well as certain memorable boss battles were also not included in this game. Personally for me, Casino Night should have been a full-on console thing where you had the whole level itself. I know there was the unlockable DLC one, but you pretty much just play it as one big pinball game like you did in Sonic Adventure 1. The 3DS version also had Mushroom Hill Zone, a classic level from Sonic & Knuckles on the Sega, which they should have included on this game because some Knuckles boss battles would have been pretty interesting to have as well. I also thought that they should have had the Hut Shelter level from Sonic Adventure 1, Metal Harbor from Sonic Adventure 2. Those would have been some nice additions as well. While some levels were good choices, I just feel that many levels were chosen just to show how good Sonic games used to be, and what were left out were just kind of, you know, forgotten about and tossed aside. Another problem I had with the game was the tank-like controls for classic Sonic. They were kind of awkward, more so than like they used to be. Actually, it kind of did feel like the old Sega games. I think they could have revamped that just a little bit more. And modern Sonic's controls, I wasn't exactly a fan of. I still think that they're missing the ones from Sonic Adventure 1 and 2, what made the game so good, and how you felt like you had more control over Sonic in certain parts. And lastly, the boss battles. Now, some memorable ones were tossed in, but I think we could have fought different forms of Chaos, being as Sonic defeated Perfect Chaos without actually going Super Sonic in this game. And I think we should have gotten a better choice of classic enemies, like, you know, gotten another couple of the Mecha Sonics, not just Metal Sonic himself, even though he's awesome. The Iblis creature from Sonic 06, like I said, it didn't happen, but a fight like that still would have been pretty cool. Mephiles would have been a great battle as well, if we got that thrown in there. And even the classic Knuckle battles, too, you know? Like, there were a lot of stuff that we could have had thrown into this game, and again, it just feels like the boss battles they threw in there, much like the levels, just kind of reminded us on how Sonic levels and Sonic characters used to be. Great, memorable battles, but over the last couple of years, we haven't been able to produce much of what we want to do, or what we should be doing. Granted, this game has put Sonic back on track, but there were just a lot of boss battles that I wanted to see that weren't here. I mean, yeah, I guess I can get the 3DS version and everything like that too, but, you know, where the console version is supposed to be more powerful, a couple more wouldn't have hurt, and Classic Sonic should have got some more guys too, because I think he only had 1 or 2 fights actually. So, again, kind of feel like we got gypped on that, but it's kind of a minor complaint regardless. Okay, enough about the bad. There's plenty of good about this game, I assure you. For one, you can play as both Sonic and original Sonic, the classic Sonic. Right there, that's a lot of fun, because both have different play styles, and while a lot of people have forgotten the old style, everyone's pretty new to the new one, you know, or they know of the new one. But it's good to go back to the classics and see where Sonic began. And whereas classic Sonic can go to the newer levels, such from Sonic Adventure, Sonic Colors, Sonic Heroes, and all that stuff, that's pretty cool, because you see how his style works in those levels. It's also great to see that both characters interact pretty well together. I mean, I know classic Sonic, for some reason, doesn't talk, which they should have got Jaleel White to come back and do the voice, you know, because that would have been great. But Roger Craig Smith, once again, does a great job as Sonic the Hedgehog, and I think that this is how they should keep it, because he does a really good job. And again, both Sonics and both the Tails together, it was really fun. It felt nostalgic and new, and just somehow the guys made it work, and I congratulate them. The music was just amazing for this game, and it's got to be one of the best soundtracks in years, even though some of them are remixes or from past games. But Sonic games have always been known for their great music. If anything else, they've had great music. Classic ones like Green Hill Zone to Chemical Plant to Sonic Boom and Super Sonic Racing are all here, and you can swap out the audio for any tune you might have unlocked so far. And for me, that makes certain levels even better. And my favorite theme, It Doesn't Matter, from Sonic Adventure 1, was added to this game. Take a listen. Boss battles, despite there not being as many as I would have liked, were actually really fun, and yeah, some made me rage quit, you know, like I said, and the Silver and Shadow ones were pretty tough at times on the harder difficulties. Even on the normal difficulties, they were still pretty tough. But regardless, they're really fun to do, they're just a blast to go back and play. Like, I mean, we're getting a retro trip, but we're also seeing them in a new way. So it was kind of cool that they did what they did. Now, I gotta admit that some of these boss battles were really tough, but it still made the game enjoyable, and like I said, I did rage quit, but the Sonic and Shadow battle was great, because Shadow's All Hell Shadow would play when he powered up, Sonic's Live and Learn from the theme from Sonic Adventure 2 would play, so I gotta admit, like, these were good. I mean, like, the Egg Dragoon battle was kind of a pain in the butt, but it was an interesting battle for sure to see. So again, boss battles could have been a little bit better, but again, what they added was pretty good and did make the game fun and a nice challenge to keep playing over and over. Alright, for the wrap up and final thoughts. Is this game worth a buy? Yes. Overall, the game is a success and another step in getting our favorite fastest thing alive back on the track he so rightfully deserves. Roger Craig Smith, once again, of the Resident Evil fame and the Assassin's Creed fame, takes over the role of Sonic the Hedgehog and does a phenomenal job. And many other famous voice actors returned to do the voice of the supporting cast members as well. I just wish, like I stated earlier, that Jaleel White was able to come back and do the voice of classic Sonic, because that would have been a real good throwback to the fans of this game. But, you know, I guess we can't have everything we want in the game, right? But overall, despite some repetitiveness with some of the missions to unlock the sounds and music and artwork, and some kind of bad controlling once in a while, and a couple of good stages and bosses left out, Sonic Generations holds up and it does a pretty good job of keeping the series back where it should be. Sonic Colors started that, Sonic Generations continued it, so let's hope the new Sonic game that they debuted is going to continue doing just that, because Sonic rightfully deserves to be still a king of video games like he was years ago. I just hope he doesn't hit that slump that he had for all those years again. That's one speed bump he had trouble recovering from, that's for sure. Alright everyone, episode 25 is over and done with, so we are moving on to bigger and better things. Sonic takes a chili dog break as we web swing into some old school gaming and our first Sega Genesis game review ever, here on New to Retro Reviews. Episode 26 will be a review of Spider-Man and Venom: Maximum Carnage. The reason for this is because my best friend just got out of the Marines after 5 years, and I thought this would be a good kind of tribute to him. Plus this was also one of his favorite games growing up for the Sega, and it was actually a really fun game to play. His cousins and I played this one a lot, as well as playing Golden Axe and a couple of other good Sega titles as well. But this was, I think, the one that we had always played the most, and kind of frustrated us a lot as children as well, which I'm sure if anybody's played this game, they know. So, like always, if you haven't, please subscribe because it's free, and in this day and age, free is a damn good thing. Follow us and stalk us on the Twitters. You can click the links below to get to those if you'd like. Also, yep, everyone, just, thanks again. I really enjoyed doing this. Sorry it took so long because I've been doing so many different things right now, but I hope that the next review does not take as long as this one did to come out. So, again, thank you everybody. I'm One Big Boss, and I will see you all next time.